We have Jen with us. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live. Welcome on Boomer 11. Absolutely ecstatic after that performance which India just put out. Continuation from Asia Cup. Nothing has changed. It's been a month. Absolutely nothing has changed. Siraj picking up wickets. Sri Lanka capitulating. There's been an improvement though. They played more overs and they went on to score more runs. Significant improvement of 6 runs. That's where Sri Lanka will be mightily pleased after that performance. And India will be disappointed that they're really deteriorated from what they were able to restrict Sri Lanka in Asia Cup. I think India will have to go back and really analyze the bowling because there was some poor bowling to give away those 6 extra runs or maybe 7 because India should always be striving to improve. And today, for Mr. Daniel Alexander,
Good
he'd
news
like to
for
see.
him.
Huh?
I think Daniel Alexander will be the happiest Sri Lankan right now because India could not get them all out for 36. I saw, right? The moment they hit the 37th run, Daniel Alexander's tweet was shot into the internet where it said
Yeah.
that 36 all out by India is still the lowest score ever in
Hmm.
all three formats by a major test playing nation, which is amazing. I mean,
He keeps tweeting
Sri
that
Lanka almost
every
proved
every day, man. I mean, what is this? I mean, I don't even
every
know
day,
how
I
does
think every
people
hour.
keep allowing his survival is just based on that one tweet
36
every
all
day.
out, yeah.
Bumrah's bowling
Yeah.
action, Babar Azam fastest to 19 centuries, Virat Kohli being trash. I mean, this is just nonsense. That guy needs to sleep. But Jaran, I
Oh,
mean, you reckon that was
yeah.
some improvement from Sri Lanka? I mean, how happy are you with the improvement from Sri Lanka with scoring 56 from 50?
Yeah, mighty pleased. I think, I mean, to be very frank, you have to give them credit, right? I think the tailenders did score quite a lot of runs. In fact, if you do the math, the tailenders have, I think, scored close to 15, if I'm not wrong, more than 15. Yeah, I think 20-30% of the runs of the total team today. Um, Absolutely shambolic. I mean, yeah, I think there was a point in time I thought they're not going to reach 20 runs, but I'm glad to see they did. But overall, yeah, it's just not a good day for Sri Lanka. It's
Absolutely.
absolute nightmare, I would say, for them. And I think tomorrow morning they'll wake up with no recollection of this will be better if they don't wake up with any recollection of what happened today.
Absolutely. I mean, there is no two ways in thinking that India did a fantastic job. I think it should be norm for us, but we should be disappointed Indians in terms of that bowling display. I mean,
Yeah.
for Sri Lanka at least they'll be very pleased. I mean, I thought they were in with a semi-final berth, but they've only shot themselves on the feet by saying that we are not even deserving to to be playing in this World Cup. To be very fair, I think Netherlands will give India a tougher fight than what Sri Lanka has done. But let's just be very serious right now. That spell from Siraj once again. Every time he sees Sri Lanka, his eyes light up, or Sri Lanka just gets scared of Mohammad Siraj. I mean, that spell. I mean, we have to talk about Mohammad Shami later on, but Mohammad Siraj, that's what led to the train wreck which we are finally seeing at this point. But that spell from Mohammad Siraj, that ball which he bowled to Kushal Mendes was some ball. I mean, any batter in the world would have struggled with that. It was just the venue from Colombo had changed to Mumbai, and he was continuing on that spell which he had left last month.
Yeah, it almost felt like you're watching the highlights from Asia Cup. The only reason you would realize it is not the same is because it was happening in Mumbai, not in Sri Lanka, and the fact that it was not daylight. But otherwise, you just felt like this was proper highlights, and it just you kind of feel for Sri Lankan batters at the same time. You think, I mean, I know India just was bowling, I mean, breathing fire Indian bowlers, but you would have to really question the Sri Lankan batsmen as well. I mean, they had no answers, and I think the best shot of the game was played by Mahesh Tikshana when he came in and drove Bumrah, or I think was it Siraj? Yeah, Siraj on the up when he scored his first runs. And in fact, Tikshana was your best batter today. He scored 3% of your runs and just faced 6% of the overall balls. I know he scored only 11 runs, but then yeah, I mean he scored 11. Then you had Rajita who scored 14 at a strike rate of 82. I mean, I think they should have switched just kind of flipped their batting order today. Probably would have been a very sound alternative to go. Ask Rajita and Madhushanka to open the batting. Then you have one down Tikshana, then
Yeah.
Chamira, then
That's
Himanta
not a bad
Matthews
thing to
and so
do. To be
on.
very honest, when you're bowling to
Yeah,
tailenders up front, whoever you are, you tend to earn your lines, and that's something which you've seen
absolutely.
often, right? And I think
Yeah.
it's a tactic which teams should often use. I don't know why teams don't use it in conditions where the ball is moving around. It's not a bad idea to send a tailender to just slog around here and there, just to err with their ballers' lines. And you never know when batters can come and start scoring pretty much in a better way. You don't want to be 3 for 4. I mean, it was ridiculous scoreline today. Three for
Yeah, it
four.
just
I mean,
felt like you're watching a football match.
yeah, it looked like a badminton match at some time. It's 14-7. That's what it was. It was just ridiculous in terms of what I was watching today.
Yeah, it's absolutely. I think it almost feels like the discussion we're going to have today is going to be a repeat of Asia Cup. We have already spoken on these topics. What else is left?
We should have posted that video today. Just that they scored 5 runs
I
more and
think,
India chased it with 10
yeah, I
wickets.
think what we should have done is probably download the video and just played it while we reacted to it. One of those videos where we react to things we've said. And I mean, I don't know what to really say. I understand the thought process behind the toss. I think we should start there. It was again a risk where you don't want India to chase because India's done it so many times before. You don't want you are going to be playing on a drier wicket in the first half of the day. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be tougher as the game progresses because we did speak about how this pitch had something in it, but then Sri Lanka gave away I think 100
Okay,
runs
I have a
extra.
question for you. Do you
Yeah.
reckon Sri Lanka's Halloween nightmare will be Siraj mask? This is
Yeah.
where
Oh yeah,
Siraj
yeah.
mask
I
will
agree.
go, and that's going to be a Halloween specialty for Sri Lanka at this point. But
Oh yeah, I mean
let's
it's
be serious. Let's look at the bowling unit. I mean, rightly, Daniel must have nightmares today. I think Daniel has been having nightmares for a while.
I think
He's
Daniel
living on
escaped a
crisis.
lot.
I mean, I really feel
India
for him.
almost
People like him really needs help at this point. We're not talking about it enough. We care about
no,
mental
even
health a lot.
India would have ended Daniel's career. Imagine if Sri Lanka was all out for 36. He cannot post 36 all out tweets
Yeah. See, India is
anymore.
such a good country. We are helping people with employment to stay relevant. So we just give happiness.
Yeah, we
Today's
gave the
win would
20
have.
runs extra. Yeah.
See, we kind of made Pakistan happy as well. Pakistan really now wants Sri Lanka to win. So we are making giving
Yeah.
people happy with smaller,
Oh.
smaller things. Diwali
Yeah.
hai, to gifts to dena chahiye. So we're giving them
बेटे को
not in
गिफ्ट देना
abundance.
चाहिए.
Thoda, 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 thoda. But either way, we will talk about India's bowling unit to start off with. Mohammad Shami, three
Yeah.
games for 14 wickets. Class act. I mean, he's gone past Zahir Khan to pick up the most number of wickets for India in World Cup history. I mean, let's just be honest. This bowling unit with Siraj, Bumrah, and Shami is lethal and scary. I mean, other teams are now worrying about a bowling attack more than anything else. They know if you give these guys the ball on a pitch which has slight bit of help, then you're done for. Absolutely done for. And just remember, after this, there's a Kuldeep and Jadeja to tackle with. There's relentless pressure now.
Oh yeah, I mean, today I think India plugged their two holes that we were worried about. One was Siraj, and one was Shreyas Iyer. Obviously, we'll get to Shreyas Iyer later on, but Siraj, this is the thing, right? I predicted this right away. I mean, we all did, but then I'll take a little bit of credit here. This was a
Would you?
Siraj kind of pitch. This was proper Siraj kind of a pitch, And when Sri Lanka were bowling early on, you felt that Siraj is gonna love this pitch, and he did. He loves the pitch where even a 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter seam movement, he'll eat the top order up. And what the unfortunate thing about Siraj was he was not getting any movement off the pitch for the last few games, and that kind of forced him to ball a little fuller or try and ball short, and then it got wide, and he started balling on the pads. But today, the moment the first ball Bumrah ball, I knew right away that Siraj is gonna cause chaos on the other end. And I was only worried about one thing, that Bumrah and Siraj shouldn't take away Mohammad Shami's chance to get to the highest runs, the highest run gotten. I mean, the highest wicket taken by an Indian for India in the World Cup, because I felt like at a point in time when they were 14 for six, right? I thought, okay, I was obvious that Rohit is going to give them two more overs. And I thought that's it. India's going to ball them out in the power play for maybe 15, 16 runs. But then they got away from the power play. And I think it was the worst power play. I want to see the stats on this. But in the
It was
power
14
play,
for 6.
They were 14 for 6. And I want to see, is this the worst power play score ever?
It is the worst power play.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. So India kind of, you would have to say India kind of let the ball roll after that to give them
Yeah.
55 runs because 14 for 6, the top order is gone. And you have to realize this is Sri Lanka's top order. Sri Lanka's top order has scored the most runs for them. I thought this is the end of it. But I think the ball, once the ball got older after the power play, it was tougher to get the ball moving. And I think it was a lot easier for them to bat. This is
Okay, Tejas,
absolute.
interesting point.
Yeah.
We'll take it up. I'll take it up later on. But just Park Public saying Sri Lanka team was sold out in uncountable money. Let's be honest, guys.
Uh,
If Pakistan would have played today on that pitch, I don't even see them scoring that much. To be very fair,
I'll be
this is the
very
same
frank.
Pakistan team who considered 340 against
I don't
Sri
know what are they
Lanka.
cribbing about. Pakistan needed this.
Absolute
If there's
trash.
one winner out of this, it is actually Pakistan and Afghanistan. So I could easily argue that Pakistanis have paid money to Sri Lankans because India doesn't.
I'd
I mean,
rather
India
see that
doesn't
way.
get anything out of winning this well.
Yeah. India's net run rate has not gone exponentially high. It's just 1.73. It's not like we have gone past South Africa even after winning 303 runs. That's one thing I hate about
Absolutely.
net run rates because even after second biggest win in World Cup history, we're still 1.73. So
No, that's
it
also
doesn't
because of
give
the
us
amount
any
of matches we have played now. If this was the first match, you would have seen India's net run rate go to exponential places. But because India's played 7 matches, the
yeah.
run rate, I mean, basically the run rate, right, the bowling run rate, which is the one which is massively affected in this scenario, that really comes down. And also the fact
Uh-huh.
that India ball them out, right? Sometimes bowling a team out but sometimes a team, if they ball out early, you might see that net run rate still doesn't come down a lot. That's one issue with it because wickets don't actually count in this, right? Doesn't matter how many wickets you lose as a batting team or as a bowling team, doesn't matter. It depends on the runs you've scored. And that's how cricket is also, obviously. But sometimes, maybe if a team gets all out for 14 runs and let's say 14 runs and let's say 12 balls, they just happen to smash two sixes and then, they get all out. Still doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
They'll have a net run. They'll have a net run rate contribution of 6 runs. So that's how net
True.
run rate works. Sometimes it can be a negative aspect of net run rate is this
Yeah.
because 12 runs all out is probably the worst a team can do. But if they've done that in 2 overs, still spectacular. That's me saying the first ball going for six, second ball going for six, and then the next 10 wickets have fallen. Doesn't matter. Still they'll get a net run rate
Absolutely.
contribution of six.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you on that because net rate can be a tricky component to really
Yeah.
deal with, and you need to absolutely look into various factors. Yeah, I agree with you. If India had defeated Sri Lanka by this month in the first game, India's net rate would have been +2 odd. But unfortunately, India had to play 7 odd games by now. I immediately demand Bangladesh and Sri Lanka permanent status should be immediately scrapped betterment of the game. Big call, isn't it, Kapil? I mean, I'd really say at this point, for Sri Lanka and for Bangladesh, this tournament is just a nightmare. It's just continue to carry on. I mean, I don't know what to say. Fast bowlers have really not stepped up for them. The batters have been such a letdown. I think they'll have to go back into the drawing board, make a lot of changes if we talk about the batting order, and look at how they have to look into the game. And to be very honest, today I thought Sri Lanka just gave up after that first collapse, and they were technically not sound enough to play, is what I felt. It was not anything
Yeah.
else. Technical soundness is what you can question. Now hyping up Shine's number one ranking say it's fixed when it comes to Indian play. Never seen delusional people. Let's be very honest. Let's not take them seriously. It's as serious as what their literacy or whatever they talk about in the country is. To be very fair,
Yeah.
let's not take them seriously because their opinion matters as much as their opinion anywhere in a world forum. That's what it is. Uh, yes, Jaren, but let's talk about India's batting performance. It's something which we can still talk about. Three people missing out on hundreds. Virat Kohli's 49th was beckoning. Gill's first ever World Cup century was beckoning. Shreyas' first World Cup century was just 18 runs away. You think they all had a missed opportunity today, but sometimes you feel hundreds don't really matter when your team can contribute in leaps like this.
Yeah, I think Shreyas especially, I still think, he did not have much choice. He had to go for the ball. He was batting too late in the day to really try and wait and score 100 and, take his own time. I think by the time his dismissal came, yeah, I think he was dismissed in the 48th over. So you would have been really upset if a Shreyas Iyer had started to take singles and doubles. And you have to also realize, he had opposite him I think at that point in time he had opposite him Ravindra Jadeja, yes, but he had to go for the ball. He had to go smash, and so I totally understand his wicket. Virat was again undone by a beauty by Madhushanka. I think Madhushanka should not take anything away. This lad is balled his heart out today. He was the only bowler who came in who kept Sri Lanka from giving away 400 runs. Very frankly,
Absolutely.
this lad came in at all periods of the periods today. I mean, obviously in the power play he was brilliant, but even forget the power play, he came in. I know he gave quite a lot of runs away, especially towards the end. But he got 5 wickets, and he bowled with massive courage. He bowled the right lens, the right line. I know Indian batters did go after him, but he got wickets even when other bowlers were not giving him any support. He got the wicket of Virat Kohli, Shubman Gill. I think those two, if especially a Virat Kohli, you know how dangerous he can get as he continues to face deliveries, especially if he had scored that 100. I think Virat would have felt massive relief. Then he would have gone after the Lankan bowling. So brilliant from that guy as well. And that's the reason why I wouldn't really say anything. I think Shubman was the only one I felt let down by, because even Virat's dismissal was a beauty of a ball. He just tried to, squeeze it past the inner circle for a single, but it's just a slower delivery that made him push at it. But yeah, Shubman Gill very disappointed. But aside from that, just beautiful.
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, it should have, said that both
Yeah.
of those, all three, I felt, except maybe Shreyas, all three had an opportunity, even if I have to count Shreyas here, to really score big. I still think India were short by 30 runs ultimately, because India did slow
Yeah.
down, a lot. If Surya would have been there, maybe that would have been
I think
interesting for
Hardik
all.
Pandya being in this team, that would have meant India scoring a 373 80,
Sachin's curse is real. Indian batters getting out 19s is one could have never seen before. I mean, to be very honest, there was a lot of hype for that particular moment when Virat was nearing around 100, and you just felt there was a lot of nervous energy around as well. They were showing
Yeah.
it on the screen time and time again. And Virat did
Yeah,
play
yeah,
26 dot balls leading into it. That was a good ball from Madhushanka. If you look, three,
exactly.
four dismissals today are off cutters. And if you look at KL Rahul dismissal as well, the ball did stick onto the wicket. After, especially in the first inning, there was a lot of balls which was too paced in nature. You can't say this was the flattest of Mumbai wickets, unlike what we've seen previously. It was a different Mumbai wicket. I think India did a phenomenal job to get it 358, but I still
Yeah,
think India were 20, 30 runs short, primarily because of what I felt where India had an opportunity. If India hadn't lost those wickets, maybe if Rohit Sharma would have not gotten out early on, or if, for example, if KL Rahul would have been there or Surya would have been there, maybe India could have scored those 380. But
yeah.
India wouldn't be disappointed. A 303 runs win,
No,
it's massive, absolutely.
I think
I
India
think India will be
were
very happy.
100 above par, dude. I think India,
Absolutely.
it was a 280 pitch. I think India were 80 runs above par, and that's where I genuinely thought it's a 280 pitch. I remember, I think it was you who said 360.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I mean, I did not expect India to reach 360 at all. I think it was, and I thought Sri Lanka will do a lot better job because it just felt like the kind of pitch that Tikshana would come in or Hemanta would come in. I would have loved to see a Dhananjay De Silva ball on this pitch. I think he would have done a lot better than what Hemanta did, and he probably would have helped him a little bit, helped Sri Lanka a little bit to have Dhananjay De Silva walk in at that stage with Angelo Matthews. But yeah, I mean, I can understand why they went in with a Hemanta, but it just backfired that move because I just felt Dhananjay De Silva could have been a lot more difficult for India to score off of in the middle overs, and then again he would have been much better coming in. But having said that, I think Sri Lanka did not do a good enough job. They should have taken their chances, especially the Virat Kohli chance. The one that was of Shubman Gill was impossible to take, but I think the Virat Kohli wicket there, India would have easily scored just 80 runs less. The fact that then Kohli and Gill, kept milking Sri Lankan bowlers, that is where they lost the match. I think that Chamira drop. It's a tough one. It was I would say 3/4 chance, but it's still something a fast bowler should take. On the day, especially considering it was a Virat Kohli.
absolutely. I agree with you. There are some occasions I felt today where Sri Lanka should have been more proactive in terms of the approach. They gave away so many boundary balls to start out with after the
Yeah,
start they got. I mean, in the power play, especially if you look after the start they got, they still went to concede 6 runs and over. India scored 66 in the power play. So that's one place where they let go of India. Secondly, I felt the middle overs phase, where, as you mentioned, where Virat and Shubman was really milking, and there was no pressure to build off. And maybe Madhu Shankar should have been given that extra bit of spell, maybe to bring him early on. I know it was hard; the conditions wasn't easy during the daytime for a fast ball to one in, but maybe they should have thought these on these lines. they were low on confidence. That's very clear. And Kushal Mendes as well is a very new captain. He's still learning on the art. But that's about from Sri Lanka. But let's talk about what is next for India, isn't it? If you look from India's
Yeah.
perspective, India have got some challenges in terms of playing the semi-final now. Nothing in terms of qualification. We've sealed that. South Africa game becomes a dead rubber, technically for both the teams at this point.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and we don't mind that happening. To be very fair, India wouldn't mind now resting a couple of bowlers here and there, and maybe you know trying out a Ravichandran Ashwin, trying out a Shardul Thakur, and see how things go
Hmm.
right before the semi-final. Maybe give rest to a Siraj, give rest to a Bumrah, and see how India really fares up. Because it's not a bad time to try it out because after South Africa game, we have 7 days break. Then you can bring them into the Netherlands game for rhythm. Playing
Yeah.
in Bangalore is not going to really take a lot out of you because the conditions are still good. You're still not going to really get exhausted like the humidity in Eden Gardens. And now it's a back-to-back game which you're going to have against South Africa. There, you can afford to give your bowlers rest, and you can afford to bring in a Shardul or a Ashwin and see how they go about it, and maybe even. I really want to see Ishan, but I don't think India will make any changes in the batting order.
I think the batting order thing would have been there would have been a change in batting order if you had seen Hardik Pandya play till now, right? Now, because Hardik Pandya is not played, you don't really see the need to make a change because Suryakumar Yadav has just played 2 matches, so resting him is absurd. And everyone else, I think, including a probably a KL Rahul, could be rested. If he feels he needs a rest, I think the batters will probably decide for themselves if they want a rest or they want to play. And I don't think any player in this team will say that I want to take a rest because, to be very frank, Indian batting, I think, except for the New Zealand match and the England match, right? Indian batting has not been tested yet. These are the only 2 matches. I think even the Australia match. So I think 3 matches where they've been tested. So fair amount of adversity, but it's not been like it's been back to back where any batter would feel like they need any rest because batting is a lot more psychological than physical exertion because you want to be continuing to play when you're in the zone. You want to continue to play because you don't want to lose your timing. Bowling is a lot more physical exertion and those kind of things come into picture. So most likely, I think a Siraj and Bumrah might sit out, and a Shardul and Ashwin might come in, or rather, at least a Siraj or Bumrah, one of them is gonna get rest. It depends on who is going to be preferred.
Maybe you can rotate one game Siraj, next game Bumrah, or
Yeah,
however you
maybe
want
that's
to
the way
do.
it's gonna work.
I
Yeah,
think with Siraj bowling close to 7 overs on a trot today, maybe he might just get that extra
and
rest.
you don't even
Because
need to rest the spinners; they haven't bowled much.
yeah, so I think spinners no need. Just
Yeah,
maybe Siraj and get in Shardul or Ashwin, however you want to go. I don't think it's going to make a lot of difference for India, but just seeing this trio play together is just a joyous sight. We've
yeah.
enjoyed them play together in Test match. They won as multiple Test matches on overseas soil, and I think it's just a wonderful sight to see them do the same havoc what they created overseas in Indian soil. I mean, just talking about these three. I mean, these three shares that kind of lethalness, control, effectiveness everywhere they play. Let it be Test matches, the Lord's Test match where they wreaked havoc, getting the England team out. I mean, it just gives you the fond memories when Bumrah, Shami, and Siraj plays together because this is one of the most lethal trios in bowling. It's not talked about enough because you talk about Hazelwood, Stark, Cummins because they've had longevity, or you talk about T20 guys like Naseem Harris and Shaheen. But these guys have done it in all formats, to be very honest.
In all conditions as well. You're right about
Yeah,
it. I think India has been phenomenal. I think Indian fast bowling really does not get that spotlight because of 2 reasons, right? One huge factor is Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. It's always these two lads stealing the limelight. I mean, every single time, if, for example, every match that Mohammad Shami's taken wickets, either a Virat or a Rohit has played a tough knock of 80 odd, right? Or the New Zealand game, or be it the England game, or be it even today, for instance. Today, I think you'll get a lot more limelight on the bowling because it was second innings one, and because they all out for 55. But aside from that, everyone came. I think everyone came to Wankhede to watch Virat Kohli break the 49th test. One day century. No one even realized that Mohammad Shami has gotten become India's best bowler. India's best bowler in one day in the World Cup. And by the way, fun fact: Shami is also has a best strike rate in World Cup. It's no Mitch Stark. It's no Shaheen Shah Afridi. He is the all-time best strike rate in the World Cup. I think he's played 9 matches or 10 matches. He's gotten
yeah,
four
yeah.
fours.
Yeah, he's
Four
got the
four
best
percent
strike
just
rate
10.
and most number of best strike rate ahead of Shahid Afridi right now.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, the craziest part is 2015, 2019. I think except for 2019, he was never India's second best bowler. He's never been India's best bowler ever. Forget that. He's never been India's second best bowler except for the 2019 World Cup. 2019, he was India's second seamer. But 2015, he was picked as the third seamer. And again in 2023, he's picked up as the third seamer. And still, he's been India's best bowler. That is absurd. This lad, I think he keeps turning up and he keeps getting dropped for some reason.
Yeah, yeah,
I think
absolutely.
he is a
No idea.
bowling
I
version
mean,
of
to be
Shikhar Dhawan,
honest,
for India.
Mohammad Shami in white ball cricket has been treated very unfairly, at least in 50 over format. Maybe because
Yeah,
of some of his IPL performances where he's been unable to bowl in the death, he
I think
gets
because of his T20
same.
for performances, he's not been that great in T20. But
I,
50
I
overs, he's
often
still
think
there.
Shami, when he bowls with Bumrah, is a level above others. I often see when you give Shami the sole responsibility, he tends to, waver around
Hmm.
slightly. The pressure just gets on him to pick up a lot of wickets. He doesn't really have to, um, doesn't really have to worry about the wickets when he keeps bowling in that channel and keeps hitting that length time and time again because Bumrah keeps piling the pressure and he keeps bowling in that, and the batters tend to poke at it. If you look today, the pressure which was added on by Siraj and Bumrah, he kind of benefited out of it. When he came to bowl Sri Lanka, played that shot. Hemanta struck out his better ball to Matthews was phenomenal still. But still, if you look at all these games, the pressure which was piled up by Bumrah and Siraj was really enjoyed by Shami. If you look at all these games, I have Sandeep Bani with us. Sandeep Bani, what would you take out of this game if you're an Indian?
Yeah, I'll just take. I mean, I was out and then I didn't realize that India would finish the game so fast. So I had to rush back for the live. I think the Indians are not doing us a favor by,
I
I
think
mean,
Sandipani
putting the
stayed
game
out
so short.
more than any of the Sri Lankan batter, all the Sri Lankan batters put together. Like
Exactly,
just
exactly.
Sandeep
And
Bani's outing was more than Sri Lanka's whole innings. Let's just say that.
I think it took me longer to come back that than it took for the Sri Lankan innings to get over. So
Yeah.
it was that sort of a game. I
And
mean,
you think
Kohli
Sri
won
Lanka
by
should audition for Maggie Cup noodles as a
Kohli
team?
won by
Good sponsors,
33
you reckon?
runs. Shubman Gill won by 37 runs. And say Shreyas Iyer won by 27 runs. This was the performance from this
Or is
highly
Amul trying
octane
to
Sri
say that
Lankan
you can
team.
you can boil our milk and dairy products very quickly? You can eat it in a very quick succession. I don't know what the
yeah,
whole
Sri
branding
Lankan
was.
batting was cooked today by three cooks.
I mean, it wasn't
Yeah,
that bad a pitch that you get all out for 55. I think once again, poor application of shots. I mean, Shami, Siraj were great early on. I mean, to start off with Bumrah picking up a wicket of the first delivery itself. Because once again, I have maintained this that this Sri Lankan batting lineup is not the youngest right now. They have the experience and they should definitely perform better. I would have understood if the bowling would have I mean suffered. They did suffer. They did go on to concede more than 350 runs once again. But with all the injuries, you still have a leeway for the bowling department. But this batting performance is absolutely pathetic from Sri Lanka. You give all the credit to India, and still I feel that I mean they deserve all the credit, but still I feel 55 is too low on this pitch.
By the
Mohammad
way,
Shami has
I
been
have to add
phenomenal.
one thing. I mean, I just it just completely spaced out of my mind. 10 runs that Sri Lanka scored today were extras by Indians. Otherwise, it would have been 45 runs. I just forgot
Yeah, I
about this
think
fact.
yeah.
if
At
India would
one point,
really
if
have the
not for
pressure.
Bumrah's two whites, it should have been 0 for 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and if not for, I mean, India were trying to dismiss them early on. I mean, for a cheap total. Otherwise, they did take it a bit casually once they were 29 for 8. Otherwise, I
yeah,
think they would have been all out for less than 35. I mean, you could see in the field the players were jogging around, having fun. It's all fun and good, fun and games
yeah.
and good because
I mean,
they managed to dismiss them by 55.
the
You have to
crowd
give
which
something
started
to the crowd as well.
chanting,
Yeah.
the crowd which started chanting 11 players who were on the field, then started shouting the name of Sara Tendulkar for the next, I think, for the
But
next
just,
Yeah, I
10
just
think
overs
say
after
the
the power
crowd was
play.
phenomenal today. I mean, I was
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
the
read
best
a
crowd
crowd
comment
in
somewhere.
India
phenomenal.
game.
Sachin Tendulkar's curse is real at Wankhede. Players don't
Yeah,
get
it
to
was
score their
Kapil.
centuries, and I think if
Yeah,
somebody had to get that curse and get out on the 90s, it had to be Shubman Gill. And the way in which he got out, I feel Shubman Gill deserved a century today. So did Virat Kohli. After I mean they were both dropped, and also I think Shreyas Iyer played a great knock under pressure because coming into the team knowing that you'll not probably have your place once Hardik Pandya is back, and then the team, there was a loss in momentum at that point. The India lost two quick wickets, and Shreyas Iyer was 4 runs in 10 deliveries at one point till he
Yeah,
started smacking the balls out of the park. And I think
Yeah.
this is the sort of Shreyas Iyer that is really good for Team India. But once again, my problem being this sort of Shreyas Iyer only comes up when India are 150 for 2 or 120 for 2 instead of a
yeah,
20 for 2. When India are
yeah.
20 for 2, Shreyas Iyer plays a different brand of cricket
Yeah,
and
yeah,
gets
I
out
agree
after
to you.
building up
I
the
agree
pressure.
to you. Today was a much easier knock for Shreyas Iyer, given it was Mumbai, given he had to face a lot of spin,
But
not a
then
lot
again,
of
you have to give
pacers.
the credit where credit is due because KL Rahul did not get going. You saw
Yeah,
Kohli. I mean, after getting settled for 88, he got out to a slower delivery, playing a nothing shot. So you have to understand that the ball was holding up, and it was not so easy to score those runs. Even a Surya Kumar
yeah,
Yadav couldn't really make use of his opportunity coming in at number 6 today. So I think the
yeah,
knock that he played, I think it was brilliant, and also I feel that the moment at which both Jadeja and Shreyas Iyer really looked to accelerate the last 4 or 5 overs, I
yeah,
think it was
yeah.
brilliant game awareness, and they learned their lesson from the game against England. Because I wouldn't
Absolutely.
have been happy if another wicket would have fallen in the 41st over and this total would have ended down to, say, string down to a 320 or 325. Talking
Yeah.
about that, I got the predictor right today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you might have won some money today. The crowd made Rohit to go for the review, even when KL said goes away. Mumbai always has a great crowd. I think
Yeah.
one interesting thing on Mumbai's crowd is they chanted for every member in the squad today,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
very fun to see. Not a lot of
Yeah.
crowd does this. I think that's a very Mumbai-like thing to do. They get involved in it. They're one of the most best. They've got one of the most amazing venues to watch cricket in terms of the involvement they've got. It's a very
Yeah.
loud crowd. You've seen it in IPL as well. You've seen that in multiple occasions as well when Malinga runs in, when Bumrah runs in. It's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
kind of a crowd, and that really puts a lot of pressure. You know how Mumbai Indians is, Mohan. You're a Mumbai fan. You know how it feels like other teams would
No, I
travel
mean,
into
it just
Mumbai.
felt like it was a proper football match happening, scoreline being 2 for 3, and the crowd chanting each player's name. It was just and every ball going through, you heard the oohs and the ahs, and every
Now
dismissal the
just
crowd
imagine
wakes up
any
to.
away team
Beautiful.
have to walk into this and play. I mean, if it was Pakistan, they would have been crying right now. Thankfully,
Yeah.
it is not Pakistan. They would have been writing another petition to
Oh,
ICC
I
by
mean, they
now.
were
So
singing a Vande Mataram song. I think Mickey Arthur would have asked the crowd to start singing
Dil Dil
some Pakistani
Pakistan.
folk song. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so Kapil says now Pak was in New Zealand quarterfinal. Absolutely not,
Oh,
because
don't forget
there's an
Afghanistan.
Afghanistan who we are discounting
Don't
time and
forget
time again. I don't know
Afghanistan.
why.
Yeah.
Why are we discounting Afghanistan? Look at Australia.
Yeah.
They've lost Mitchell Marsh. Glenn Maxwell is a question mark. Now, if you talk about the middle order in Afghanistan game, I give Afghanistan the aces ahead of Australia in that game. And with
I think
Australian bowling attack slightly
first
being fatigued.
Afghanistan will have to hold their nerves and win the game tomorrow against Netherlands, because I think Netherlands will be charged as well because of the ICC. I mean, the Champions Trophy qualification spot. I think
Yeah,
they would really look to get that thing going.
But
absolutely.
and that match is very important for Bangladesh.
Okay,
I mean, for
he
Afghanistan
says
rather,
beef
because
power in Muslim fast bowlers. I hope this power comes to your fast bowlers as well, Aisha, because it doesn't look like your fast bowlers is having it, or your fast bowlers not consuming enough. Maybe
Come on,
that's one of
Abel.
the
They
reasons
bowl
why
at
our fast bowlers.
150 kilometers per hour, but also travel at 170 kilometers per hour. But
Yeah,
that is a
absolutely.
separate debate altogether.
Siraj
They have
owns
the
Sri
power.
Lanka. I think Siraj, as I mentioned, is the Halloween mask for India against Sri Lanka. Every time Sri Lanka would see Siraj, they would have a thing or two. I think he's a new, what do I say? He's a nemesis of sorts for Sri Lanka at this point. It just looked like he was continuing at that point. At one point, I was just calculating his total number of balls from the last spell against Sri Lanka to now. He had 9 wickets in 49 balls, and he had just conceded close to 15, 16 runs. So that was his figures at one. No, not 15, 16 runs. For 35 runs. So that was it. Was 9 for 39 was his figures in the 48 balls, or 40 51 balls he had ball against Sri Lanka in the last, including the last match as well. So that's crazy figures to have. And Sri
Yeah,
Lanka,
but
in
also
cumulatively in the two
you have
games.
to understand the difference. I mean, there is a separate different energy in Siraj altogether, because if you see the game, compare this game to the previous 6 games that India played, and compare the first delivery that Siraj bowled, or the first over that Siraj bowled to some other team, and compare it to the game where he bowled it today. I think he was high on energy. The first ball really got him going. It was a Jaffa, and I
तुम
don't
लोग घर
think
से
too many
बाहर
batsmen
आओ,
in.
पिच टैम्पर। आप लोग कितने मैचेस बाहर जीते हो? कितने टेस्ट मैचेस बाहर जीते हो? ये पहले बता। कितने मैचेस बाहर जीते हो?
Aisha, agar if we come to your place,
Wait. I think I have a stat for
वेट अ
you
मिनट,
over
वेट अ
there.
मिनट। आप लोग कितने मैचेस बाहर जीते हो? पहले बता, ये
No,
बताओ
I
कितने
think I
मैचेस
have
आप
two.
लोग
I have
बाहर
a
जीते हो?
good stat for
We
the
are the
star
most
powers of
successful
Pakistan as
overseas
well.
team in the last 1 decade, and you're saying आप घर से बाहर जाओ? You know, we have
Babar
gone to
Azam plus
Australia and
Rizwan has hit
leave
two.
Sanjay Mani, wait a minute, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This bowling attack has gone to Australia and defeated them. आप लोग जा रहे हैं ऑस्ट्रेलिया, एक मैच जीत के दिखाओ, एक मैच। Since 1994, you've not won one match, leave alone a series.
I mean, the former Pakistan skippers are saying they don't have a bowling squad for Australia. Forget going to Australia. But that is a different
T20
thing
वर्ल्ड कप में
altogether.
आप लोगों ने क्या किया? कितने, मतलब क्या किया आप लोगों ने? मतलब जीता?
No, I mean, talking about stats outside of Pakistan or the Asia, I think Babar Azam and Rizwan has a combined total of two test centuries outside Asia. So does
Ashwin.
Ravichandran Ashwin.
Ashwin has
And that,
same number of
yeah,
centuries, yeah।
and
आप
that is
लोग
something,
yeah,
I think Shami has a 50 as well. Just add to that. So
yeah.
yeah.
So
Shami
does
has a
Bumrah.
match-winning 50, which Baba doesn't have in England. So very sad state of affairs. आप लोग तो जीतना है, पहले शमी का रिकॉर्ड ढूंढ लो और शमी का रिकॉर्ड तोड़ो, फिर हम बात करेंगे। एंड उसके बाद हम बात करेंगे आई टॉकिंग अबाउट आईसीसी ट्रॉफी। लास्ट टाइम वर्ल्ड कप कब जीते हैं? वर्ल्ड कप जब बात करते हैं, वी वॉन्ट आईसीसी ट्रॉफी, ठीक है। आप लोग वर्ल्ड कप कब जीते थे? 30 साल तो हो गया। वो सब छोड़ दे। If you want to go behind ICC trophies, yeah, we can go behind a lot of them. आप लोग भी एक ही Champions Trophy के
I
पीछे
mean,
जा रहे हैं।
you would have to say that Pakistan are on a verge of being invited to a Champions Trophy only because they are hosting it. And who
Right.
knows? Who knows if they'll get to host it? Because I'm still
Yeah, I
interested
don't
to
think
see
it's
what
happening in
Jaisha
Pakistan,
does.
boys.
Because there's a very good possibility Jaisha will make some moves before 2025. That's all I'm
ICC
saying.
ट्रॉफी कब आए? पिच चैंपर्स घर में जीते लास्ट, इंडिया घर का शहर। अच्छा ठीक है यार, आप लोग घर में भी नहीं खेलते, क्या ही बोल रहे हैं, घर का
All
शहर।
I mean, Aisha, at a point in time, you have to stop blaming everything but your team.
At this time, I just hope your country comes out of delusionality. Your country has become delusional, to be very fair. Not just
And
you,
that's
a lot of people.
yeah, and a lot of the way things are being reported in the media, I think there's something called manufacturing your own happiness. That's the biggest export of Pakistan at this point in time.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. ICC Championship 2017. Yeah, exactly. You bring the 152, you bring the 2017 Champions Trophy. We have come way past it.
And
Your
forget
team is
about
still
the
struggling
13
And
as
games
well.
where
that you have
is
lost in between.
Yeah, exactly what Nasir Hussain said yesterday was very right. Pakistan is still stuck in 2017, and they keep believing and they keep hoping for other teams in every tournament. And they've just
yeah,
defeated teams below them, and they just keep being delusional. And Nasir Hussain used the term delusional. That's the reason he had to lock his Twitter account today, because everybody in Pakistan went on rage with him. But can you say Nasir Hussain is wrong? Can you say
oh no,
that? Because
Nasir
at the time
Hussain.
you have to rely on other teams.
Yeah, I mean, Nasir Hussain is one of the most bluntly spoken guys out there. Sometimes, there are things that Nasir Hussain says that will really prick your skin. As an Indian fan, he's spoken a lot against us. But there's always
No,
an
but I think
underlining
Nasir
truth to
Hussain
what he
over the last
says.
couple of days is making some great points. I think even
Yeah.
in the matches as well. I think
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
his captaincy instincts are kicking in, and he is making some good
Yeah.
calls over
No,
the last
Nasir
few
Hussain has
weeks.
been one of my favorite commentators to listen because his points have been accurate. He
Yeah,
talks
yeah,
about
yeah.
modern day
Exactly.
cricket. He doesn't look at cricket from 90s or 80s perspective. He
And
understands the balance
he's
between the
evolved,
modern
right?
day and the previous generation.
He's evolved a lot. He's been one of those commentators who's been doing the job for so long, but you'll never see him sticking to older points. He still works on the game. He likes to learn a lot of stuff. And if you ask him about something, even the modern technology, he knows things. I mean, those of you were complaining about the umpire's call should go and watch the
Yeah, absolutely.
explanation that Nasir Hussain has said. I mean, we've said this explanation a long time back in 2020 in
Hmm.
the T20 World Cup as well, when this was a huge
Hmm.
point of contention. But Nasir Hussain is one of I think Nasir Hussain, Ian Bishop, Harsha Bhogle obviously makes that list. These lads, they've been doing it for so long. They're not
Yeah.
even lads anymore. They have been doing it for so long, but they've still evolved every step of the way. They know ins and outs of cricket.
Yeah.
And I think Teju has just mentioned my point as well. very much possible that 2025 Champions Trophy is happening in UAE and
Yeah,
not in
absolutely.
Pakistan. Yeah.
10 विकेट से हारने वाले बेस्ट बॉलिंग अटैक माई फुट पिच टैंपर्स, तो आप लोग तो 128 के लिए भी ऑल
No,
आउट
I
हुआ
think
था
it's done.
पिछले
I
दो
think we
एक
Aisha,
might.
you
महीने
have to
पहले.
realize we have
I
done
think
you
we
a
don't have to
favor here.
acknowledge that anymore. I
Yeah,
think
I
we have
don't think we
spoken
have to
enough about it.
acknowledge
Yeah.
this, to be very honest. This is like a kid crying, I swear. DK's predictions, but he's doing a great job in
Oh yeah,
commentating
he's
them.
one of the best
DK
out there, I
is
think.
also from a very similar school of commentary. He has also spent a
Yeah.
lot of time in Sky Cricket. I think Michael Atherton, Nasser Hussain,
Correct.
let it be Ian Smith or DK, everybody has got a very similar mode of analyzation. And I really respect them. Ian Bishop is another one. Simon Dill is another excellent commentator out there. I think it's just lovely to listen to these
You
people
know,
because they tend to be spot on more often than not.
Abel, there's something interesting that I want to talk about, and it's not about today's match at all. But I'll say one thing. In India, for instance, the commentators are controlled by BCCI. BCCI decides, if I'm not wrong, who should be in the list of commentators that you can select from for India's
Yeah.
matches. And in this case, obviously, ICC has selected the commentators. But if you look at good commentators, right, you'll see those are the ones who are not controlled by the cricketing board, but they're controlled, or at least they are selected by the media houses. For example, the people you have taken the names, right? They commentate for Fox Cricket or Channel 7 for Australia. These are channels from Australia, or Sky Sports from England, right? They're not, and in England, they're not controlled by ECB, and
Yeah.
in Australia, they're not controlled by, Cricket Australia. These are actually controlled by media houses. Now, obviously, there are certain biases that come there, but you'll see the quality of these commentators are higher than certain poets in India. And I'm not taking names.
And also, I think this list wouldn't be complete without mentioning, say, Mark Nicholas, because I feel that he has
Oh yeah, yeah.
over the years been one of the best.
I think Mark Howard as well.
Yeah, Mark
He's
Howard as
on a
well.
very good. He's a rising commentator. I think you guys. I love watching KFC Big Bash only for the commentators' quality. Right, the
Even
quality of
Ricky Ponting
commentators
is
at
a
KFC Big
phenomenal
Bash.
commentator. We don't
Ricky Ponting
recognize
was
him
there.
enough. Ricky
Yeah,
Ponting is
I mean,
another
Ricky
phenomenal
Ponting
commentator.
has been one of the best, if not the best, captains in the world across all formats. So he knows the ins
but
and outs of the game, and he
yeah,
calls things.
yeah,
He calls things perfectly.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, calls out the players as well, the captains as well when they are not
yeah.
taking a decision or when they are playing it safe. And I think that is
And
one of the best qualities the commentators should have, and they should be blunt
yeah.
about it.
I mean, just talking about Ricky Ponting, a lot of people talk about how he had the best team in the world, and he did. He did have a team full of legends, but you also realize why he won those tournaments when he does commentary, because you see his instincts are pitch perfect, and most often than not, as Sandipani rightly mentioned, his gut, whenever teams follow his gut, more often than not, you see some result, and
Sanibani, I
just
think
brilliant
Aisha
to
has a
see
very
that.
interesting point. We are Garka share. We have lost to Bangladesh and West Indies away from home.
I think
So
I've just
how do you
blocked that
recognize
section
them?
of the comment.
Yeah. I think very simple. घर के शेयर होते तो हम एशिया कप नहीं जीता अभी. We have won more ICC trophies than you away from
I
home.
think the previous one is a good question. Who do you think is gonna become man of the
Man of the
tournament?
tournament. I think it's way too early for that. Is India's every box ticked as well? I mean, early on, to be very fair,
I think
uh,
every
we'll
campaign,
have to
World
see
Cup
how
campaign,
India
you
plays.
have that one game where India suffer, ICC
But I
campaign,
think
and
if you look, India's biggest suffering was against Australia in game one. That was India suffering.
yeah. But if you also follow the ICC pattern as well, I think the game against South Africa is going to be crucial. Even the 2011 World Cup which we won, South Africa was the team that stopped us. So I'll be there at Eden Gardens for the game. I got the tickets, but
Okay, so
I
can
just
you
hope
just
that
tell
I
the
don't
process?
get the jinx along with
Can you
it.
just tell the process? How did you get the tickets? So that
I
our
think the
fans
man
can
who
listen.
got arrested, I mean, yesterday for selling the tickets, I think it has got something to do with that person.
Sandipani, that two lawyers present here, we
So
advise you not to continue talking about
funnily
that.
enough, I'll tell you the whole story. Even I got connected to the man who got arrested, and I got to know that guy got arrested. So I pulled my last minute button off. But apparently, before that, he had already sold 40 tickets, which was in the market, which finally Sanibani got hands on it. But Sanibani,
No,
you
no,
can't, you can
no.
only.
Let me be very honest. I haven't got it. I mean, I haven't got it from that guy. I got a pass.
Yeah, you got a pass from CAB because Saurav
Sandipani
Ganguly,
saves
Sanibani
saves himself.
is like bye bye,
Buddies,
एक कॉल
buddies.
घुमाएगा दादा टिकट चाहिए आजा मेरे साथ कॉर्पोरेट बॉक्स में ऐसे ही बोलते हैं बस Sandeep Bani is going to sit with Dada and watch the match in Eden Gardens. If TV spans, he's going to ring the bell, by the way. The Eden Gardens bell on Sunday is going to be rung by Sandeep Bani. What do you think about that, Dylan? Proud moment for Boomer 11?
Absolutely. I think Sandivani is the GOAT and he deserves to do it. I'm surprised they haven't gotten to it yet. It's 2023. Where is the invite for
Yeah,
Sandivani?
exactly.
Why isn't he ringing bells in Eden? I think he should do it
Like
every
last
time.
time, Sandeep Bani wore Boomer's t-shirt and went to Eden Gardens. He got he was told to remove it. So thankfully, Sandeep Bani saw another vendor. He had to wear that on top of it. So that's what happened in the last season. But if I
I
remember
think
last time when
I'll
he
once
went,
again wear a Boomers jersey going into the game,
yeah,
so that
last
I
time when
get
he
a.
went, you saw Rajat Patidar score 100, right? If I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
wrong.
Last time I went over there, I saw Kohli shush the crowd after Lucknow Super Giants fans were going all gaga about KL Rahul's presence in the crease. But then Kohli silenced them. We also saw a pitch invasion. So we had lots of fun the last time I visited Eden Gardens. So
Can Eden
hopefully this
Gardens
time
crowd
around,
better than Mumbai crowd? Now this is a historic rivalry we're talking
obviously.
about.
I
And
mean, you're talking about you're
by the
talking
way,
about Mumbai. Yeah, you're talking about Wankhede crowd being all vocal. Just wait till India has a good passage of play at Eden
yeah.
Gardens on
Did
Sunday.
you
It's
did
going to
you
be
guys
deafening.
see the whole Riyan Parag celebration of I'm level above your team? The whole celebration after one of the Bengal commentator calls Assam second class citizens, and he just would have pointed all the players and he was like, "I'm level above you all." He has broken the record for most number of consecutive 50s, and Assam is in the semi-final of Syed Mustaq Ali Trophy by defeating
Yeah, they
Kerala today.
beat Kerala today.
So
Unfortunately,
massive day for
I
Assam
mean, Jadin,
cricket.
I feel you because they beat Bengal in the pre-quarterfinals. So
Yeah,
at
man.
least
I
they
really
came to
wanted
quarters.
Penal do it. And what a travesty for Sanju Samson getting all out for duck. First ball duck
Yes,
today.
and
But
I mean, for the first time ever, I heard about this. I think he got out to a bowler who's really not made himself known yet in the
yeah.
domestic circuit. He's very new, so very
But
upset at that.
Assam in semi-final of Syed Mustaqil Trophy and that celebration from Riyan Parag again is going all around the rounds where he pointed all the players and he told I'm level above you all. And the commentator has been told to apologize as well for calling Assam second-class citizens. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun which is happening in Syed Mustaqil Trophy. Just to give you an
and I think
update,
we should
Karthik
cover it. I
Tyagi
think
was
once it's done,
bowling
we can
seamers.
have a summary.
I
Yeah,
think
I think
it's
we
going
Summary
to
of
be
sorts.
relevant as well, just before the IPL auctions, because this is, as you
Yeah.
know, the dress
You think
rehearsal for
Riyan
IPL
Parag has
auctions.
finally owned it now? This is a world we are
He
living
is
in
a
now.
Syed
Finally, Riyan
Mustaq Ali
Parag
trophy.
time.
He is a Syed Mustaq Ali trophy bully, to be very frank. And I don't
Yeah.
say this in a negative way. I say this in the most positive way. He's really bullied bowling attacks. He's made them really believe that he is
I
above
think
the
he's
rest.
the Navinul Haq of Assam cricket. I mean, definitely he's a
I
good
mean, this is
player.
Assam
I mean,
cricket.
Navinul Haq is a good player. I no disrespect to him. I think Navinul Haq is a great player, but I think the loud mouth that he has, he needs to keep it
Bro, I think
under check.
he's the same things we like Virat Kohli for. That same thing I like Riyan Parag for. He's got the attitude. He's got the mind, bro. I think he's gonna
But
have that one
I think
IPL.
where he
He's
lacks
not
is
far
he does not
away.
have the I mean the abilities or the capabilities
I
of a
don't
Virat
think. I think
Kohli.
he's
Bro,
got the
I
He has
ability.
the
genuinely
mouth
think
of
he
Bro,
it.
I
has.
think this guy is. I'm team Riyan Parag any day.
Me
I
too.
am
Me
ready to
too.
defend him.
Me
I
too.
think the day is not far away where he's gonna
Yes.
smash against your team, Sandipani,
Yes.
and you're gonna be shush. He's gonna
I
come out and
believe.
smash.
I believe he's gonna agent. He's
What do you
gonna.
mean by your team? We are all
I'll tell
supporting
you why.
I'm
India.
not
I'll
kidding.
back
I'm
Abel.
not kidding. Why? Because now
I'll
it's
back
got a thing
Abel.
against Bengal and
Yes.
Kolkata and everything. He's gonna come out. He's gonna start smoking.
He's got a bone to pick
It's
with
not that I am
Kolkata and his
instrumenting the
resume.
crowd at Eden Gardens to say all these things, or I mean, boo Riyan Parag.
This guy's got attitude. I mean that
He's
gutsiness in
got,
him to
yeah,
go out there and do that celebration to show everybody that I'm level above you. This Bengal
yeah.
team. That's crazy, bro.
He's
Assam.
got that
I mean,
Mamba attitude. He got that Mamba attitude. I know he's
he's
not
from the
performed
same.
yet,
He's
but
from the
he's
same
got that
guys as
Mamba attitude.
and he went on to post in Twitter that I'm cooking. I mean, that's him.
Yeah. Yes,
Absolutely,
I
that's
absolutely
Riyan
love it.
Parag leave.
I think
This
But
guy,
he is
I
sort of a Ibrahimovic level,
yeah,
confidence.
bro,
but
I
I
I
tell
think
you
think
he
what,
he
I
has
ha-
tell,
he'd
bro, he's
had
one of
to
the
eat
only
his words in
players
the
who
past,
has a
and I
bio
think
called
that
I'm
is
a
one
gamer
concern
first
for
and
Riyan
cricketer
Parag.
second. He calls himself a gamer and a cricketer in second. He's a part-time cricketer and full-time a gamer. So he knows. He's an absolute boy. Chad. He's an absolute Chad. Not gonna lie. Love
I
Riyan
want him to
Parag.
do well, just for the memes.
I really want him to play for RCB, man. I'm not kidding because I think him under Virat Kohli is gonna be something.
Yeah,
He's gonna cook in
yeah.
RCB. I have a feeling.
Yeah.
No longer
Absolutely.
under Virat Kohli, Abel.
I mean, he's gonna be there alongside. I think Virat Kohli is gonna take up RCB captaincy from a lot of rumors, from what I'm hearing, by the next year or so. Let's see. Let's
We'll
see.
see. We'll see.
Some close sources. We're
No,
breaking it
I'll
very
tell you
soon.
honestly, I'm really
Yeah.
excited about the Eden Gardens game because I'll get to see my idol, Lord
Who's
Temba
your idol?
Bavuma, for the first time.
Oh, Temba Bavuma. Yeah,
Yeah,
my idol too.
I'm going to. If there is
Hey,
one player that I'm going
can
to
you just
heckle,
make a printed shirt for Temba and go? I mean, there should
obviously,
be
I
Temba.
was thinking of going bald, but then I decided against it.
Yeah, Temba. We are
Temba
all
for the
Temba
win.
attitude. Temba Bavuma is the only guy with a Mamba mentality in South
I
African
think if
team.
there is
Temba is a
one
real
player that
Mamba.
I'll really cheer for
No,
and
I
I'll really
think
heckle, it's going to be Temba Bavuma if he
no,
plays.
I
If he does
still
not
think
play,
Temba
then
Bavuma is an integral player of South Africa. He's one of the best managers out there. He's a player come manager. If it was
I mean,
football at this
Bavuma
point in
should
time, you would
really
have seen him on the
hope
side.
that if he's not
You guys
playing, then my
remember, I
tickets
think
are not
Temba
near
Bavuma
the
scored
dressing
100
room.
against India in one of the one dayers, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he
Last
did.
year when we went there. Yeah.
Yeah, he
I
did.
think I think some of these players have very good record against India.
I genuinely
Jaren
don't
Asad Temba.
appreciate that Mohan comment, but
Yeah,
I knew this was coming. I was hoping none of you will actually notice it, but I am very close to being Temba. I think
Jaren's,
I have
you know,
the
guys, Jaren's
I have the
another name
hairline.
is Liddo Temba.
Oh God, Abel.
He plays in this college league where he's got jersey is called with the number 11 Liddo Temba.
It's not number 11. It's number 99. It's
So
just
from
Jaren.
today, we can acknowledge him as Lord Jeren.
Lord Jaren, officially. He is Tala Jaren is what they call him.
Yes.
Every Sri Lanka is feeling that after Hanumanji, it's Indian ballers, which is for the whole nation. I agree with you, man. No,
I mean,
is
if you
it
are
is
just
it is,
scoring
is it
106 and
Hanum?
losing
Okay,
20
let me just
wickets,
say, after Hanumanji, there are a few other people also who set the entire country on fire during the 90s, and now it's Siraj.
I
So,
think most of all, Daniel Alexander is setting that country on fire.
I mean,
Oh, I think Daniel
I'm being
Alexander's
politically
career.
incorrect. It was
Let me say this
Hanuman in
again.
the history. In 80s
Yeah.
and 90s, it was their own people. It was some people who set the country on fire. Now it is Siraj on fire. So,
No,
yeah,
I think
it's
don't
a
forget.
turnover.
Recently, someone else who's also setting the country on fire. I
Yeah.
Exactly,
think.
Daniel
Yeah.
Alexander all the way.
Yes, it is Daniel
Danny
Alexander.
is on
He's my
fire.
favorite.
Sri Lanka is terrified.
I think
Danny is on
today Sri Lankan player saved his career because 36 all out would have been the end of his Twitter account. And not to
Hope
forget,
South Africa don't spoil our ballers' confidence. हम ballers को खिलाएंगे भी नहीं. We'll play our B team there. We'll give rest to most of our ballers there.
No. Come on, we'll play our bowlers. Yeah, I'm going to watch them.
Just because Sandibani is going to watch, Bumrah
guys,
should
Man,
watch
play.
out.
it's come on.
Sandeep
For
Wani
his
is
birthday,
going
I
to
we
think
be.
obviously
what
hope
India
that
should
Kohli
do
gets to
now
that.
is what India should do now is give South Africa their strength, which is to bat first and chase against South Africa and Indian Gardens.
But
Yeah, why not?
Abel, I'll tell you why this game is going to be really important for us because if you see the points table, South Africa are still way beyond us in terms of the net run rate. So if by chance we lose the game, I mean the next game on the 5th, then we end up being second on the table. Then we'll probably have to
It
face
doesn't really
Australia.
matter to you.
Australia.
I
Australia.
mean,
I
you
agree
still
with
want to
Sandeep Wani.
face the
You don't want
best
to face
team
Australia.
in the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But it
You don't
all
want to face
depends on
Australia.
who we are facing.
New
I just
Zealand
have
is
a feeling.
really messing
Okay,
it
let me
up.
just tell you, India will finish number one, Afghanistan at number 4.
Whoa.
Then I think we are going to get through to the finals with not much difficulty.
Then we face South Africa in the final or Australia in the final. Who do you
I
want?
don't think if it is
Who do
between
you
South
want? Choose
Africa and
fast.
Australia in the semifinals, I think South Africa will be the chokers once again.
Yeah, I'll take
No,
South
I think
Africa.
I think South Africa is going to win it.
I'm
South
not going to take
Africa,
Australia.
India finals.
Doesn't
Who's going to
matter.
break the? Who's the bigger choker? That's
No, I'll be very
the tag
frank.
of the final.
Doesn't matter if the Australian under 19 team is playing. Maybe this might sound like an exaggeration, but there's something about knockout and pressure that brings out the best in Australia. I don't want to face them. I think the last resort is to face
And also,
Hey,
I
Australia.
let's be
think
honest.
South Africa
Let's be
has
honest,
reached the
guys.
semifinals of the World
Let's
Cup
be
four
very
times.
honest. I really don't think
Zero finals,
until
final
unless Travis
appearances.
and David Warner is going to really take the game away, or South
But
Africa is
then
going to chase in next year of
here's the
350
thing
or
about
360.
Australia as well. You don't want to face them in the finals as well. I think, as far as I know, they've never lost an ICC World
I'd
Cup final
rather face Australia than that South African bowling, to be very honest,
or the batting.
or the batting, to be very fair. I'm scared of South Africa more than Australia in the
I
finals.
think at this point in
That
time,
to talk about Indian trio of fast bowlers, the four fast bowlers who are relentless is South Africa. Those guys are running in, man. First Jansen and Yulungi, then they've got Rabada, Koitze. Koitze has been crazy. I mean, I saw him in SA20. I thought he's got a lot to develop, but his progress. He's been an ideal replacement for Andre Nokia in this World Cup. I
no,
mean,
I
I
think
spoke about it at the start of the World Cup by saying he's a dark horse to watch out
even you
for.
have to also
That is the
see
same
in
platform he's
that
speaking about it.
yeah, in that SA20, you have to also see that he was their number one seamer for the team, for Joburg Super Kings. But
And I
here
think
he's a third seamer, and I think that
CSK are
helps.
dying for the next season. I see CSK buying him for some reason.
Yes, they should have brought him instead of who
Sisanda
Sisanda
Magala.
Magala. I don't know where he turned up from. Played
I think
two matches
CSK are
in less.
buying
But
him.
I feel,
And also I
I
think
still
Teju also
feel
messed
they'll
up with
have to cross that
Madhushanka.
semi-final barrier, right? South Africa in semi-final is going to be a different story altogether because knockout games. I know they are the dark horses. I know they are cruising through the group stage games, but then again, they have reached the semi-final 4 times or 5 times in the World Cup. Did not manage to get a single final appearance. So that
Yeah.
is
How about a
something.
different story? Babar and Rohit in the final.
I think
Yeah, I
then
think Babar should definitely
Mickey
come and
Arthur will
watch
be
Sri Lanka
worshipped in
play.
Pakistan. I think Mickey
I
Arthur is
think
going to be the next Pakistan Prime Minister then.
no, I think Babar Azam and Rohit Sharma will be present on the ground. I just don't think Babar will be in his Pakistan jersey. He'll probably be watching the game. Jai Shah might just
No,
extend tickets.
but if it happens,
Spirit of
India
Cricket
versus
Award.
Pakistan finals, I think Mickey Arthur is the next Prime Minister of Pakistan.
Yeah,
He'll be
If
the
that
absolutely.
online
I
Prime
think
Minister of
happens,
Pakistan.
I think Babar is the next prime minister for sure if he reaches a final with this team.
Future. Babar is the
With
future
this
Prime
to
Minister,
what to
future
get
but
for
shot,
next
sure.
for Prime
to
Minister
what to
is
get
going to be an
shot in his
online
head
Prime Minister.
or shot in his leg. How does he want to get shot? Whenever cricketers become prime ministers, they often get shot, man. I don't want him to get shots for some reason. So either way, I don't think Babar will take that risk. Babar really cares about his life a lot, so I don't think he's going to take that after what has
No, I
happened with
think Mickey
Imran
Arthur
Khan.
will because Mickey Arthur will be the online Prime Minister. He'll
The
stay
online
at his
prime
home.
minister, first non-Pakistani origin prime minister is going to be Mickey Arthur. I think we're going too political. I think we can stop it right here.
Yeah, I think
Koizek can
we're
bat as well.
shifting. Yeah,
I mean, that's why I told you, right? CSK might just buy him. CSK
yeah,
might
a
And
just
also,
buy
I
him.
think
replacement for
that
what Bravo
strengthens
was.
South Africa's
But I
batting.
hope Faf du Plessis convinces RCB to buy him. That's my hope because he's a captain.
But
So
you
let's.
realize also Coetze batting at number 8 gives that extra security to South Africa because they also have a Kagiso Rabada and Keshav Maharaj who can use the long handle at number 9
Yeah,
and number 10. So South
yeah.
Africa is
Yeah.
another team that bats really deep.
You
I
know,
mean,
one thing I loved about South Africa is also that the template they followed, right? We love Babar. Oh,
yes, we
absolutely. Why
do.
don't we? We do.
Yeah,
Yes, we do. We love
we
you,
do.
Number one
Babar.
batsman in the
Can we
world
sing the
right
song?
now.
We do.
Jared, we love you,
We love you,
Babar.
Babar.
We do.
We
We
do.
love you,
We love you,
Babar.
Babar.
We do.
We
We
do.
love you,
We love you,
Babar.
Babar.
We do.
We do. We
We
love
love
you,
you,
Babar.
Babar.
He's a favorite. He's a goat.
Yeah, he's our favorite. He's a goat. The
The
real
goat.
goat.
And that's the reason
How
why he has
many?
to stay away from Pakistan on Eid.
Yeah, the real
Yeah.
goat. On the real
He is
goat.
the god of Pakistan. I hope he does not get slaughtered.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
think he's on his way for that.
He's
I
on his
genuinely
way
think.
if he doesn't
Yeah.
perform. Saturday morning in Chinnaswamy. I really wish I was in Bangalore. It's a morning game as well. We could have been there. We could have been there. Eid बनाएंगे बहुत जल्दी. Respect button for Shami से माशाल्लाह beef power जिंदाबाद. ठीक है यार ठीक है. Respect button. Mashallah for Babar as well.
I think that also helps the Pakistani batters run well between the wickets. Iftikhar is fast because of the
Not just
tight gas.
Iftikhar. Fittest
So,
team,
I mean,
best
I have
team
to
in
say this,
unit.
okay?
The last time I
So,
saw
on
Iftikhar
the
run,
day,
I
right?
think. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, on the day that they played in Eden Gardens against Bangladesh, they had special delivery come in from Kolkata, where they
Yeah.
ordered biryani, where they ordered
Mutton
what else?
chops.
I think
Kolkata
yeah,
biryani is
mutton chops.
loved, by the way. I mean,
And their physio had a
Oh
very
yeah,
good
guys.
time.
Question. Which is the best biryani in India? Comment down below.
yeah.
Pakistan
But
team is on a journey in India to discover the best biryani in India. They tried Hyderabad, they tried Bangalore, they tried Kolkata now. That is their
no, I
job.
think
I mean, if
I
instead
think
of
talking
having
about
Grace
fitness as well,
Hayden
I think
on that
Iftikhar
show
Ahmed.
on Travel with Star Sports, they should hire Babar Azam and co. Imamul Haq. These guys will give you best reviews.
But I don't think they are feeding Imamul Haq much because he was complaining about protein. So I think the other players are eating all the chicken and mutton and just giving him the rice to complete. I think he's getting bullied in his own team.
One thing
Now
that's for sure.
that is some bullying, and you can call that as partiality or
I'll bet in
biasness.
future we're not getting hired by ICC, but we are sure getting ticket of one political party after all this. So good
Yes.
night, guys, and have a safe sleep. See you all soon, and take care. Have a good time. Enjoy your biryanis tonight, and I'd like to choose. So there are different kinds of biryani. My favorite I've tried till now is Lucknowi. Hyderabad is very close. I think Lucknowi Hyderabad wins, and I like Kolkata, but I don't like aloo in biryani, man. So
I love aloo in
Kolkata
biryani.
gets the last for me.
For me
Jared,
too. I think I've tried only three. I've tried the one from
I've
Tamil
tried
Nadu.
Muradabadi as well. Muradabadi
Uh,
goes down of
I've
Muradabadi and
tried
Kolkata gets the same.
Hyderabadi and I've
No, but you
tried.
have to try Kolkata biryani in Kolkata. No, you guys haven't been to West
Okay, we'll
Bengal
come to
Fair
biryani
enough.
Sanibani's
properly.
wedding, so we believe he'll serve
Yes.
us and where Sanibani's wedding.
I mean, I was expecting Pakistan's farewell from the World Cup, but okay, whatever suits you.
Okay, okay, whatever
I
I mean,
think it's
suits you.
not
Pakistan
that
plays
big a
England,
event
no.
anymore. I
Pakistan
mean,
plays
we have
England
been.
at Eden Gardens, so we could all be there and eat
I
some
would
good
have come,
biryani.
Sandibani, if it was Australia leaving the World Cup, but Pakistan leaving the World Cup is pretty much a expected fact now. I think.
And
I
also,
wouldn't
given the
mind
fact
Aisha,
that
Dal
Iftikhar
Chawal too much.
Ahmed right now, if Iftikhar Chacha is the fastest runner in the world, so running away from the World Cup will not be a problem for him.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think thanks Aisha for sparking the biryani debate. That's one discussion we'll not have in Boomer 11. Obviously, we've sprung that
Aisha,
as well.
I think that last comment, just go over to the ICC Instagram page. There's a whole dedicated video
Yeah,
on who eats Indian biryanis. That's all. Thank
yeah,
you, guys.
and most of them have chosen Indian biryani
Yeah.
over Karachi biryani. So it's your own
And
guys, your favorite
I
player
would
as well.
love, I would like all Pakistanis to start a justice for Imam. I mean, he's not getting protein, but the other teammates are eating
They
biryani.
they
Now that
want
is something very
Imam to be
fishy.
They
removed. They think that is
Pakistan is
justice.
collecting Swiggy order behind Imam's back.
Yeah,
That's one thing.
justice for
Swiggy wala
Imam.
is justice for Imam to get Kolkata biryani.